Hi, my name is Nick Bublitz, and I'm the producer in residence here at Orlando Shakes. And welcome to our first ever installment of Meet the Playwright, a weekly spotlight series on each playwright showcased in this year's PlayFest 2020. This year is a whole new experience as PlayFest makes the switch to a virtual platform over the span of 6 weeks, with a live reading occurring every week, starting this Saturday, October 3rd, and finishing on November 7th. Today, I'm joined by Vincent Terrell Durham, who is our first playwright showcased in our virtual New Play Festival with his play Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringed Orchids. But before we get into that, a big thank you to our presenting sponsors. For the second year, the Basil Keeney family joins City Beverages in presenting PlayFest 2020. What's so special about PlayFest is that these new plays are still in development. So during our rehearsal process, playwrights are able to hear their words aloud and actually continue adding to their work, making cuts, adding scenes, and continuing to grow and explore. And you, as an audience member, get to be a part of that process. And after each reading, there will be a live Q&A with the playwright and actors where the audiences can ask questions, provide feedback, and talk about the play directly to the playwright as they continue on their creative journey. And throughout this, we would love to feature your questions, so be sure to leave your question for Vincent in the comments. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Vincent Terrell Durham, who wrote the dramedy Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringed Orchids. In this script, a night of cocktails and conversation sparks emotional debates, covering topics including saving the planet, gentrification, and racial identity. Hi, Vincent. How are you doing today?
Hey, Nick. I'm great. I'm great. I
Perfect.
got to say first that that trailer to introduce this was awesome.
It is wonderful. It makes me feel so amped up and energetic all the time.
Yes, it made me feel like I got a little teary. I'm like, I'm a part of this. I'm
You are
like,
a part
yeah,
of
it's
this.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So let's hop into some questions. Well, first of all, let's start by having you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been a playwright.
Sure. Well, I am Vincent Terrell Durham. I am the oldest of five kids, and that comes into play because like I'm the kid that remembers everything. And I think that's where a lot of my writing comes from. So I'm the oldest of five kids. I come from Binghamton, New York. And I say that proudly because that's the home of Rod Serling, the creator of The Twilight
Twilight
Zone.
Zone
So, yeah, so it might be the Susquehanna River had something to do with me writing.
had to.
Yeah, so, yeah, a proud Binghamtonian. And I've been writing for 8 years. My first play was in 2012.
Excellent. So, what for Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringed Orchids? What has been the overall process of for creation of this play? What has that been like for you?
You know, actually, this play is the hardest play I've ever written.
Wow.
It's I started writing this play in 2016, and I have to tell you that the first draft looks nothing like what we will see Saturday. That's how difficult this play was for me. When I
Right.
first started writing the play, I could hear my voice in it. Like the characters were not speaking for themselves. I was putting too many words into them. And
Right.
so it was such a wonderful learning exercise because all of my other plays just seemed to flow out of me. But this play, it took some nurturing, it took a lot of rewrites, and I think we're getting there. I'm excited to see what Saturday brings us.
I'm very excited to see what Saturday brings us as well. So, why now? Why this play?
You know what? Actually, the timing of this play found me rather than I found it. I started writing the play, like I said, in 2016, and I started writing it after Philando Castile had been murdered by the police. And as we know, there's been such a focus on Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and that's a large part of the play. One of the themes of the play. And it really just seemed timing hit me. You know, I had been working on the play and really I had nothing to do with it. You know, I was writing it anyways. And just this moment in time is like, boom, it's time for this play.
Yeah. No, totally. Well, let's dive into the world of the play then. I have some questions, and if anyone who is watching out on Facebook has any questions, please write them in the chat so we can ask Vincent. Now,
And
Vincent.
I hope I'm not screaming, because when I'm excited, I talk louder.
Oh,
And
I have to
I'm so
constantly.
excited. So.
I'm from a big family as well. I'm used to chatting loudly as well.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about the who, the what, and the where of Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringe Orchids without any spoilers, of course?
Sure, I will certainly try not to do any spoilers. But the Who is a diverse cast. Molly and Peter Castle and their invited guest Jaquan, who is a Black Lives Matter activist. His plus one, a young lady who lives in Harlem and owns a bookstore in Harlem. And then we have a couple of other guests that I will leave out so we don't spoil anything, I think. And it takes place pretty much current time, we can say, and it takes place in Harlem. It's a little bit about some gentrification going on. And yeah, it's a cocktail party. And everyone knows, like, when you go to a cocktail party, conversations come up, disagreements come up, and we take it from there. It really is just like a roller coaster ride. You know, you're on the top, you drop down, you take a turn. You know, it's you go for a ride in this play.
Right. Something so interesting about pulling in so many different characters from so many different backgrounds to be in this one specific location. And
absolutely. And that was really my my objective when I set out to write this play. I wanted to put all of these people who had strong opinions but varied opinions all in the same room and just let them start talking. And just see where it plays out, see where these conversations take us.
Right, right. Well, for everyone watching live, again, Vincent and the rest of the crew the cast and crew have been in rehearsal this week. So, Vincent, how have rehearsals been going so far? Any interesting discoveries as you hear the actors rehearse?
Absolutely. Rehearsal's been really fun because I have a dual monitor. So I have the script up on one monitor and I'm listening to everybody read the script, and I'm making changes in real time. Because there's nothing like hearing people say the words and then you're like, you know what, that doesn't ring true. So let me just, and it could be easy. It could be as simple as just one word. But one thing that really came up in rehearsal, and I give this to my director, Durham, and we've worked together quite a bit, but like he always enters a rehearsal differently than anyone that I've ever worked with. And he entered the rehearsal by asking each actor, tell me a secret about your character. So it took them a moment because they weren't ready for that question. And the secrets were great. And I wish I had written them all down. But one secret by the actor Anthony Hawkins Woods, who plays Jaquan, stuck with me. And it stuck with me so much that I had to put it in the script. Ooh. So it was like, oh, that's just beautiful. I need it in the script. So it's in the script now.
When we're not live, I want to have the conversation with you on what you inserted. I want to see that now because that's fun. So this is a new play festival, which means your script is still in development. What do you hope to get out of this week as you're in rehearsals and making adjustments to your work? Are there any expectations, or are there any things that are coming against, like your comment about Anthony helping you figure out a little bit of character development? Are there any adjustments that you're making?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this right now, is that I get to hear these people talk and get to hear these characters other than my own single voice, you know? And so, like, I love working with actors because they bring so much to a script and you actually hear it. And like I was saying, like, it could just be a short word like the, like, oh, you know what? It doesn't sound right now. You know, in my head, it was perfect. But then when I hear one of the actors say it, I'm like, no, we got to find, you know, just that simple.
Awesome. Now, I mean, there are some questions that we have that we can take live from.
Okay, great.
Yeah. From Nina, we have, hi, Vincent. Has this particular cast or previous cast added anything new to your script that you haven't experienced?
Absolutely. This cast, actually, after our first rehearsal, you know, I gave them a compliment. I said, thank you, because I hadn't heard the play the way I heard it. I can't even explain what that means, but their first read through, I hadn't heard it like that before, and it gave me so much. And that night I stayed up until 3 o'clock, just making small adjustments. Just small adjustments. It's like I said, it could be just one word, but they gave that to me, and it was super.
Excellent. Yeah, I find that from Ann Herring, have you done a virtual play festival before? Is this getting easier? Is it getting easier?
Hi, Ann. Actually, I've done several play festivals before, and I don't know. It's different each time. It really is, and I have to take my hat off to the actors in this play festival and the previous ones that I've been a part of, because it's not easy, and I think they make it look easy, but we have to remember that they are in a room all by themselves. That connection that you get on the stage with someone in front of you, that's not there anymore.
Right.
They're really working with a camera. So these people are killing it. So I give them big kudos.
It's almost a blend between cinema and theater in a way, since this is virtual, everyone is doing this in their own space. It's an interesting blend, because typically PlayFest happens in a theater with stands, and everyone comes in and sees. And this is now a new way of enjoying it, and it's definitely finding that balance almost.
Absolutely.
Ooh, from Orlando Shakes themselves.
Oh.
Which character?
Which character is your favorite? That is really interesting. I think Tom is my favorite character.
Mm.
And actually, in my intro and the introduction of the play, Tom didn't even make an appearance, so I didn't want to spoil anything. But when you hear Tom, you'll know that that's my favorite.
So a sneak peek. Keep out if you've gotten your tickets for Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringed Orchids. Keep an eye out for Tom. Perfect. And do we have any more questions?
That's a great question.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Well, without giving anything away, I guess this is the question we can kind of finish on. Without giving anything away, what do you hope audiences take away from this reading?
Sure. This really probably is one of the main reasons why I wrote the play. Conversation. I just want people to walk away needing to talk about what they just saw. I wanted to spark a conversation, and I hope it does that. And I'm looking forward to the talk back, and hopefully the talk back will go on like, hey, we still have 100 questions, so we can't stop the talk back. I'll be there all night if you guys want me to.
Right. I don't know how possible that is, but we can absolutely get to as many questions as we can. The goal is, yes, 100 questions.
But like right now, I don't want to go.
Right. No, it's short and sweet to the point. But thank you. I find that the best plays always do start conversation, and I think that from my experience reading the play and seeing it in its stages of rehearsal, I think, yeah, absolutely, it does do that. And I'm interested in seeing everyone at this performance, and I'm interested in seeing what the conversation is. So.
Yes, I look forward to seeing everybody there as well. So October 3rd, Saturday.
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Very good.
That's all the time we have for questions today, but thank you so much for joining us, Vincent. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Now, don't forget to purchase your tickets for Polar Bears, Black Boys, and Prairie Fringed Orchids this Saturday, October 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Tickets starting at $10 can be purchased at orlandoshakes.org. You can also join us next week right here on the Orlando Shakes Facebook page for the next installment of Meet the Playwright, when we speak to Tammy Ryan, a PlayFest alum, with her new drama, Take My Hand and Wave Goodbye. I'm Nick Bublitz. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.